Please introduce yourself.
Sure, sir. So my name is Umar Farooq. I belong from Shalina, Srinagar. I have done my 10th from Srinagar Bridge School and 12th from Iqbal Memorial Institute. I have done electrical engineering from Jammu University.
What
Yes.
after that?
And, and my hobby is playing football, sir.
Mhm. You've done your BTech, you completed your BTech in 2015. So what have you been doing since then?
So I have been preparing for civil services. I've been giving UPSC examinations, and at the
Mhm.
same time, I've been giving JKS means JKS exams also.
So if we can calculate the years, it's already close to 6, 7 years. And
Yes.
you have not managed to get through the final list until now. So what do you
Yes.
think is lacking in your preparation or in personality as such that is not letting you get into the final list?
So my when I look at my background or the faults that I have made, I thought about certain mistakes that I made when firstly in prelims examination in UPSC. I have been getting cleared JKS prelims examination. My problem was means examination. And certain exams I was not able to complete my papers, but now I am able to complete my papers. There was a I was leaving one or two questions, but now I'm able to complete the paper. And second thing that I was thinking that was lacking in me was sir continuous perseverance, which was that was a bit lacking in me. I was working very hard, but to manage the fill the gaps that were in me, that thing was lacking.
You're already an electrical engineer and you have studied in Jammu University. Why would you choose civil services as a career option for yourself?
So during my initial years of my engineering, I have been also associated with my Wala committee, and I have seen the work of first-hand work of the administration there. I was very much fascinated with the role played by the ground level administration in delivery of the services, and that thing affected me a lot, and it helped me in pursuing a career in civil services, and I could see the difference that it could make. Through the people, through the service delivery, and making and helping the people in the society. That's what.
So you are an electrical engineer. Can you tell me what are the skills required for a good electrical engineer?
So the basic skills that are required for an electrical engineer is to know the basic power systems, the circuit diagrams, the
No,
circuits.
skills as in personality skills.
So the personality skills mainly is with in three different parts. I say when a person has been appointed in higher station mainly, then it's mainly about coordination, teamwork, efforts. When it's in discom sector, that's the distribution sector, the more is with people dealing, coordinated effort with the people, and more oriented towards people, because you have to deal with the people at a lower level, and with the workers also, because we have to connect with the workers also at the end, and the people there. So better is at the discom level, you have to be with society as well as your workers. At the hydel station or power generation station, as people dealing is less, then you have to do more coordinated efforts with your subordinates and your peers and also your superiors, so that proper work management could be done.
Suppose your subordinate is producing a work that is not satisfactory to you. So how would you manage that situation?
So if there would be a situation where a subordinate is not getting that much amount of work, I'll first see what is where he is lacking, what's the problem in that thing, or where the procedure is not being followed. And if I see that it's not his skills or ability, it's something that's within the machine or something that happens on regular basis, I'll look into that. But if I see that it's the problem within the person himself, then sort him. I'll ask him to rectify that. If he further didn't, then I can ask my superiors or my heads about the thing, that there's a fault, and we can.
Suppose your superior, you talked about talking to your superiors about that work. Suppose your superior is providing you a task, a project, of which you do not have any knowledge, you don't have any domain expertise, you don't have any experience in that, and you're given this task you have to work on. How would you do that? How would you manage the situation?
So in that scenario, I will first get the knowledge of the thing, basic knowledge of what is being required or what has been to be done, because I must be knowing the things about what I'm going to be saying to the others. So I will gather the basic knowledge, then I'll see if it's within my domain that I can do something of it. If further I can't do, then I can ask my superiors to bring in some specialist about these things first. But I will first have a first-hand look, study it, and make more comprehensive ideas about it.
All right. So you're from which place in Srinagar?
Sir, I am from Salina.
Okay. There's some of Rajbags. Is that right? Rajbag Salina.
No, sir, it's Salina Pine is near Slick Factory Road, sir. Our post office
Okay.
is actually.
All right. Tell me about these silk factories. We also had a silk factory in that Salina only that was shut down for at least a decade, a 10 years decade. So what is the problem with the silk factories in Kashmir precisely?
So the Slick Factory project was one of the earliest successful projects. I actually used to hear from my uncle and my father and my grandfather that this project used to provide employment to a lot of people in our locality because I belong from
Mhm.
Sarla at that area. Not only it was a part of an aggregate economy, it also helped the nearby shopkeepers, the market that developed in that area. The main thing was that, sir, it had only one or two boilers, but the number of the boilers which was there, it was increased as it was providing more efficiently. But later, in the later part of the later part, what happened is that the government's efforts towards its regeneration that stopped, and the efficiency of the workers was also less. And at the same time, the slick produced by the slick factories at that area was not up to the quality that was required at the market rate, and that helped in that stop the competition, the cutthroat competition that was already there, and it caused a backfire in the system that profit was less and the number of employees grew, and it caused a instability, and because of a lot of efforts, it could not be rejuvenated, and at last the government had to shut it down.
Regarding the quality of silk, there is this mulberry cocoon. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about it. What are the different varieties of the silk fabric?
Sir, actually, I'm not able to recall it currently. Sorry, sir.
And who was the person who established that government silk factories in Salina?
Sir, it was it was His Highness Pratap Singh, sir, was the ruler of J&K. At that time, under his guidance, this was established.
Tell me about this word Srinagar, the origin of this word Srinagar.
Sir, it was Srinagar was the capital established by the Ashoka himself. It was founded by him during his time in Kashmir, and Srinagar has been basically the capital of Kashmir a lot of times since the earlier times. So it's basically a capital area, sir.
The origin of this word Srinagar.
Sorry, sir, I don't remember.
Recently, we had this controversy in Srinagar that got international coverage as well, media coverage, and that was the problem regarding the stray dogs. Are you aware of that controversy?
Yes, sir.
Please elaborate on that.
So the number of stray dogs have been increased in J&K, particularly in Srinagar, and the immunization program, the defertilization program that has to be done by the SMCs has been stopped up to a great extent, but it has not been successful, and the number of stray dogs have been increased at a lot of places. And since Srinagar has very compact area, it has very small areas, and the mohallas within the old city, particularly it has the number has grown significantly, which has caused a lot of different disturbances to the local peoples there, and that's why it's been growing continuously. Unless there is a defertilization program for that, that's stopping the numbers, it is going to be growing continuously.
Precisely this area, your area, Solina. What was the impact of the 2014 floods on that area?
So the particular 2014 floods that happened in that area were not the whole of the area was submerged outside, but it took a time because the back of our area in the Soilna is the Tulsi Bagh area. Our area Soilna is a bit elevated from the local area, and particularly one of the embankment that's near Mahjunagar, it broke off, and that water submerged within Soila, and it caused an increase in the flood levels, and because of this, certain of the houses were damaged. But aftermath of the flood, the most of the problem that we came is that the old houses that were there, they got damaged completely. Some of them fell down because they had the mud brick system that earlier used to exist. There was no reconstruction done to later parts. They fell, but I would appreciate the work of the Mohalla committee that they did there. But particularly in this,
Has the government taken any steps to prevent such incidents in the future?
so the embankment of the area has been made more strong than earlier, which is it happened. There has been declogging of various areas that already had been, and so that there may be a stream flow of the water in that area. And particularly the 2014 flood was an urban flood. The urban flood had a problem that the machinery that used to prevent, or the disaster management services that could be have been done to stop these things, that were mainly present in the area that were submerged. So diversifying those area to different areas so that the rescue operation could be done in a more successful manner, and other operations that could be done in perfect manner. Various efforts have been taken by the government.
Tell me, what are the various lakes that we find in Srinagar?
So there is Dal Lake is one of the famous lake in Srinagar that exists there. But then we have Nigeen Lake, which is next to the Dal Lake. So
Mhm.
then within the Srinagar. I think these two are the most important lakes. The rest I don't.
In the lake, we have these houseboats. Can you tell me the interior architecture of the houseboats? It is inspired by which of the international architectures?
So no, sir, I don't remember exactly the interior.
Okay. Tell me about this Hokersar wetland. Do you know anything about that?
So it's a wetland. It's mostly important for migratory birds. Focus the
Mhm.
wetlands. Pelican,
Migratory birds from which place?
Siberia plots, sir.
Okay. Why do they choose Srinagar, Kashmir, as their transitory camp? These migratory
So
birds when they have to move in the winter.
it's part of their pattern of coming to. They move in summer. They move to different areas. It's one of the transit camps, and basically is one of their routes. That's why, and it provides a better feeding ground. Focus Lake provides them a better feeding ground and stay area.
Of this phrase that is precisely used for Srinagar, that is the Venice of East. Are you aware of that?
Yes,
Why do we call it the Venice of East?
the Venice is famous for its water system and the boat system that's there. The water boat system that we have Shikara system like our Shikara system. So it's much more developed
Mhm.
there. The Shikara system,
Mhm.
and it resembles to that when we move in Dal from one houseboat to other boats through Shikaras. It gives a resemblance to that. That's why it's called as Mian Surf.
What is the government doing for the cleaning of this Dal Lake program?
So there have been many projects that have been taking places. First out, there is the weeding out of the weeds that have been growing in the Dal Lake particularly. Then there is the outer beautification of the lake, Dal area, that's Dal Gate area that has been declared as a green zone area. There is no particular construction allowed in that area. Also, the effluents, the sewage treatment that has been diverged out. No sewage can be allowed in the Dal, so that its growth might increase the growth of the sewage. So we have done these amount of measures.
Rate the performance of the government regarding this project.
So I will give a 7 out of 10.
What steps can you, if given a chance, what steps would you take for the cleaning Dal mission?
Sir, if I have been given mission, then I will increase the number of boats, the seaweed boats, completely in diversified areas. They are particularly focusing on the area that's near to the bank. In the hinterland or the inner parts of the Dal, most of the functions have not been done as such. I could diversify, because when I talked to one of the person there, they told me that there's a specific amount of machines that are available to them. It could be increased. It could be from 2 to 3. It could be made to 7 to 8. Then there is another thing that the number of shikaras that have been growing, it could also be reduced. Then we could also increase. We could also make navigable ports, also navigable, more navigable. It has been hampered in certain areas.
All right, Umar, tell me what are the different fundamental components of an electric circuit?
So the main components are the current transformer, the potential transformer, the circuit breakers, the wires, the voltmeters or ammeters to measure the current, then the wires itself, and the transformers.
What are we use these different colored wires, like for example we have black and green and gray and blue and yellow. What is the function of these different colors in that?
So these are the parts of the three-phase system that has been going on in India, particularly the three-phase electrical system. This electrical system helps. The three-phase system helps in generating AC potential electricity.
All right. Can you differentiate between capacitance and inductance?
So the inductance actually, capacitor, the AC current flows through it. The DC current does not flow through the capacitor. The inductors basically works on the principle of induction. That is, it gets charged itself, and after some time, it gives the energy. Whereas the capacitor charges itself first, and after some time, it gives back the energy, much like the inverter system.
We also have this AC versus DC debate. On the one hand,
Yes.
the great Thomas Edison, and on the other hand,
Tesla.
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 So, which personality is more closer, to your inspiration? Who do you think is
I would
better?
Edison, sir. I'll get more towards Edison.
Why? What are the reasons?
So, first of all, the Edison work in delivery of the electrical system at that time was something new and innovative, which one couldn't have imagined more thing. And based on the work of Edison, Tesla moved towards the AC current, that's the alternating current, which we currently have. Presently have, but the basic work and the innovative work done by Thomas Alva Edison had motivated Tesla towards AC current. So I would regard the basic and the fundamental things done by Edison as more important.
Tesla had this very famous phrase that you give me the vibrations, I'll tell you the secrets of the universe. Are you aware of this statement?
No, sir, I'm not aware of.
We also have these various different types of cables that we use in electric transmission. Like we have the low tension cables and the high tension and the super tension cables. Give me the difference between them.
Sir, you have low tension cables when you have to deliver low amount of current towards the area, because the resistance is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the cross sectional areas.
How
Because
much? How much in volts? Give me the number in volts in
so,
the
so
low tension cables.
I do not remember the number exactly, but I remember the thing that it's more to depend with the potential and the current.
Over what is reverse polarity?
So it's normal when there is a positive to negative. There's a flow of the current that happens in any conductor. That's positive always towards the negative. That's current. When the direction of that current changes, there's a change in the polarity. That's called as the reverse polarity.
Your optional is what is it optional?
So public administration. Sir.
Can you tell me the evolution of public administration as a discipline till the present age?
Yes, sir. So the public administration is the study of management of government agencies that carry out public policies to serve public interest. The main thing about the public administration is to serve the public interest. During the 1960s eras, particularly, the main focus was on service deliveries. But in 1970s, it was seen that it was not able to achieve its result. Then we moved to new public administration, which was value-based administration. We brought in the values in the system. But during the 1990s era, we introduced the concept of market, and we introduced the new public management. In new public management, we made market as an active participant in delivery of the services. In 2008, we moved towards new public governance, where we saw that people should be an equivalent participant in the delivery of the services. In 2008, we moved to new public governance. In 2014, we moved to the whole of government approach, which is currently being done, in which the government believes that government should more act as an facilitator, and the private sector should act as a provider, in which multiple agencies which are looking out have been narrowed down, and service delivery has been mostly given to the private sector.
Recently, Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, has mentioned has given the statement that the government has no business to be in business. What do you understand by this statement, and what do you think is now the direction taken by the government? Where is the economy heading?
Sir, the statement given by the Prime Minister is basically based on the concept of whole of government approach, as I said, which believes that rather than having multiple regulators, like in financial sector we have RBI, then we have SEBI, then we have LIC. These multiple regulators are not giving much of a space for the private sector. Then they are believing that we should handle most of the things to the private sector, and there should be only one regulator. For example, RBI could manage both of financial market. They could also look after the insurance. They could also look about the money market supply that has been going on, and rest could be managed by the private sector, as they have more efficiency in their working systems. So that is the thing, is saying that the government should only act as a facilitator, rather than the care about things that have been delivered will be taken by the private sector itself. That's the statement says that the government has no business to do.
So we can say that the economy is heading towards. Okay, can we say that economy we are heading towards a capitalist form of economy?
So we are moving towards a capitalist form of economy in the larger sector, but at the same time, we are not completely in a capitalist society. We are based on a mixed economical style, which in which we have both private and the public sector, and the government is doing enough so that the private sector that are actually working good are in a good condition, that they might flourish more. For example, ONGC, OICL that are doing perfectly good in certain conditions of the areas, or even the some Maharatna companies that are doing good, they can move in a particular in good hamper. So we are not completely moving towards the capitalist sector. We are also ensuring that since there is an efficient delivery of service to the last mile connectivity people by the private sector, till that government will be there. I could find a private school in main capital area, but I couldn't find a big private school at the border areas. We need government schools at the border areas, as the government is a big institution itself. So in that sector, the government is.
Don't you think handing over things to the private sector would increase the profiteering of the private sector and create pressure on the consumers? Because private
Yes,
sector has a commercial motive.
yes, sir, private sector. For that, we have kept certain government sector companies also. For example, if we have Reliance, we have Airtel, we have BSNL also, to keep a check on the growing of the market. And the regulator which looks after that, we have Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, which act as an independent regulatory authority. The main function of that thing is to look after these. The private companies are not taking more of a profit motive towards the from the people.
What can be the drawbacks of this system that India is moving towards? You mentioned about the pros. What can India benefit from this system? But what are the problems with that system?
This whole of government approach systems.
Yes, in the direction that India is heading.
So the main problem that I think currently is that societal changes that are to be acceptable right now. I can believe that the private sector will be giving much more beneficial systems, sir, but the people have a connection with the government sector also. So completely shifting towards the private sector is something that might hamper the people, but in a long run term, unless and until people are educated themselves to such extent, then we can shift completely. For example, the biometric system in the public distribution system, we saw certain problems in that form also. We saw replacing of certain private discom private sectors from the government sector, but people's acceptance has to be taken into accommodation. For that, we need to educate people, inform people more about these things, and once they see the efficiency in their performance, they will also accept it.
Do you think they're heading towards a capitalist economy or something that will be led by the private sector? Don't you think that we are compromising on our socialistic principles, on the bedrock of which India's economy was founded?
No, sir, we are not compromising on any of the socialistic principle. We believe in a welfare state, and that welfare state principle has been enshrined in our DPSPs as well as in our preamble, sir. So, the welfare orientation of the government is to ensure that the service delivery has been reached to the poorest section of the society, and the government will work towards that. And so as such, I don't think that we have compromised anything on our socialistic patterns.
Are you aware of this trickle down approach or trickle down theory?
Yes, sir.
Has it worked in the case of India?
Sir, it hasn't worked as much in case as it should have, but it hasn't worked as such. The trickle down approach has not given because the downtrodden section of the societies are in very much poor condition. In fact, Oxfam International had said that the 1% of the 1% of our rich handle more of our money. So it hasn't worked that much. But at the same system, we can see that the pilferages that were being created that actually hampered our growth that have been closed up. For example, the direct benefit transfer system or the Jan Dhan Yojana that had been started by the government. Then we have the biometric system of rationing, and we are moving towards e-governance so that the pilferages and other things that hampered that trickle down has been stopped and more.
What were the bottlenecks? Why didn't the growth trickle down to the bottommost stratum? What was the problem with that?
Connectivity was the main problem, sir. Communication and the connectivity. Sir, communication and connectivity caused it to move towards different steps. And the red tapeism approach that was going on at that time, in which more of the red these norms and conditions that were laid down had caused certain hampers. And while the service moved down to the services, and each service, as the step it moved down, there were certain pilferages. So to cut that pilferages, we move towards the e-governance and the direct benefit transfer, in which we are directly connecting with the consumers, and as such, we are giving them more benefit.
You have studied the Right to Information Act. Recently, Supreme Court Chief Justice have raised some concerns about that. RTI is being misused in India, and it is used for blackmailing and extorting money out of the public officials. So, how do you look at that situation?
Sir, basically, this Right to Information Act is one of the important acts so that there might be an increase in the transparency. But at the same time, it's the duty of the government to ensure that that the information that has been made available is not being used against the against any public official. But the information must be given, sir, because it is a transparency matter and it has reduced corruption up to a great extent. It has helped people to gain knowledge
So,
about
given a chance and given the authority, how would you fix this issue?
Sir, there will be proper scrutinizing of every information that has been provided to the people and having a background review of it, whether that information has not been used against the working of that official also. So at that scenario, I can say that we can.
Give me a brief account of Kautilya's Arthashastra, in accordance with public administration.
So basically, Kautilya in his Arthashastra states that state has to take control of its people because it believes that if state doesn't do that, there will be mityasana, which means that the big fish will eat the small fish. That is, there will be chaos and stability. So, in order to maintain a stability within the system, Kautilya said that there should be a proper administration within the society. For that, he said that there should be a one ruler who should be divine, and his name as it's called as the king. The king should be advised by the council of ministers headed by the prime minister. They should advise him regarding different matters. The king himself should act as an facilitator for the people. Kautilya believed in the mixed style of economy in which certain sectors, specifically the weaponry sector, the mining system, the grazing area, that should be controlled by the state. And there should be proper officials which should be elected based on merit. There were various examinations which Kautilya suggested for knowing the merit of any person. So his basically administration was based on merit, based on style of unity of command, hierarchy, and mixed style of economy.
What are your hobbies?
So I play football, sir.
And Which is your favorite footballer? Who is your favorite footballer?
Sir, De Bruyne, sir. Kevin De Bruyne.
Tell me about this recent concept that we've seen in the international media regarding sports washing.
Sports?
Sports washing.
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about sports washing.
It was mentioned in reference to the Qatar, holding the managing the World Cup affairs.
It's a sports washing I haven't known about, so sorry, I'm not able to report sports washing.
Recently, we also seen that this controversy was there when FIFA actually had banned our AIFFF, that's the governing body taking care of the football in India. What was the context of that ban, and has the ban been revoked?
So the ban has been revoked recently. There's a ban that was basically the AIFF in certain officials. There was a case going on in Supreme Court regarding the AIFF officials, in which Supreme Court appointed certain members of the AIFF because of till the interim process has been done, which FIFA did not recognize, as it has to be working as a specialist body. So for that purpose, there was a temporary ban till the new administration have been put on.
Can you tell me how your background in electrical engineering would help us in administration?
So during my industrial training at Bimna Power Station, where I was located, I managed to have a connection with the people and with the administrative staff itself. And I could see that there had been certain lacunas in administrative work, and particularly public administration had taught me certain features such as coordinated effort, unity of command, hierarchy, principle of efficiency, principle of correspondence, and these things will help me in particularly in administrative work particularly. And since I opted for police service as my first preferences, it will help much more in that service.
So you preferred KPS to KS.
Yes, sir.
Precisely. What are the reasons for that?
So, as I have said you that I have been associated with Mala committee and their working, and I have seen the first-hand delivery of police during the crisis situations, and that motivated me. Firstly, I have the passion for uniform, and second thing that I have seen the work done by the police during the crisis situation. And one of my personal experience that I once asked my uncle, who is retired as deputy superintendent of police, that there were protests going on by the local employees, J&K employees, about the raise from sixth pay commission to the seventh pay commission. And I asked my uncle that why are you stopping these protests, as they are also protesting for you. You will also get a raise. And he told me that we have to ensure stability in the system, otherwise there will be chaos. I like that system, said I'll ensure to work for that stability.
Tell me, being a KPS officer and in police, you need to possess some very important strengths in your personality. You have to have some virtues and some intellectual abilities as well. What are your strengths per se that would help you as a KPS officer?
So the first
Strength
thing
in your
that
personality.
I think that people coordination is very important currently with the police services. You must be much more humble and coordinated towards the people. Listening to them, hearing about their problem is the first thing. Second thing is not being impulsive, being more rational, taking decisions in more calm manner, and being soft spoken to the people. People should find police as more of a
Do you have these virtues? Are these your strengths?
so I'm trying towards working towards them. I have been patient. I try to be soft spoken and friendly towards others, and trying to listen to others' problem. Something I look upon.
Tell me, what was the happiest day in your life?
The day I got cleared for means,
Any regrets that you have in your lives so far?
I was not able to clear civil service examination. I have lost last examination by few marks, and UPSC means examination by few marks. So I have regret.
Give me your three biggest weaknesses.
So when I focus upon something, I keep just focusing upon that thing. I forgot about the other things that thing at that time, and that thing hampers my personal relationships as many times. Second thing is that When I try to be more patient, I don't have that much amount of patience. I'm trying to generate it. Sometimes I act impulsive in certain conditions, so I'm trying to work towards that. And third is that continuously working hard towards something, I just lose sometime focus about something. That's my problem. I work towards that also.
There are 600 other students along with you that have the strength that you mentioned, that are focused in their life. They want to contribute to the society at large. Why should we select you precisely?
So I think that during my time being close to my Mola committee, I found certain aspect about people and their problems. I found that if you listen to them carefully and the wealth of experience they bring with themselves, that help us to take some very good decisions during the crisis situation, particularly the COVID situation and the flood situation. So I developed that system of listening to the people, listening to them patiently about various things, then efforts, keeping suggestions about others, coordinated efforts. It helped me a lot in various aspects, and that in other way provided me an experience about the administrative system and its working style. So that would help
So
me.
you mentioned that you're patient, you know coordination, and you also have experience with your Mohalla committee as well. But my question is, you don't know your competitors. They might be better in these virtues that you mentioned. So why should we precisely select you?
Sir, as I told, I have been associated with the people, with the working of the administrative style. So it's one can say that I have an experience in that working system, and an experienced
Mhm.
candidate is uh, needed by every employer.
So tell me, what was your birth year?
1990, sir.
आपने शादी क्यों नहीं की अभी तक?
Sir, currently I was busy in my civil services. I couldn't handle any other responsibility because I have been studying, and marriage is a big responsibility. I have to be ready for that responsibility.
All right, let's conclude the session. I have your feedback ready. आप कुछ पेन पेपर सामने रख लो ताकि हम कुछ पॉइंट्स नोट डाउन कर सके.
Yes, sir.
कैसा लगा आपको? How was your performance? How was the interview?
I don't think it was that good because online में थोड़ा पहली बार दिया तो वैसा फील नहीं आ रहा था.
नहीं, मैं आपको बता दूं, यू आर अ ब्रिलियंट कैंडिडेट. बहुत 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 अच्छा लगा मुझे. आपके पास यू हैव डोमेन नॉलेज. सिचुएशनल क्वेश्चंस में थोड़ा बहुत मुझे लगेगा कि वहां पर काम करना चाहिए हमें. बट यू आर अ वेरी गुड कैंडिडेट. तो इट वाज अ प्लेजर टॉकिंग टू यू दैट वे. विल स्टार्ट विद द बिगिनिंग. तो धीरे धीरे जैसे हम आगे में क्वेश्चन जो मैंने आपको पूछा उसमें बात करेंगे तो हमें क्लैरिटी आ जाएगी. विल स्टार्ट विद द इंट्रोडक्शन. तो आपने इंट्रोडक्शन में बोला कि योर नेम इज उमर. पहले तो मैं यहीं पर आपको बोल दूं, जस्ट हैव सम गुड रीजन. उमर का मतलब क्या है और कहाँ से ये नाम आया है. और साथ ही साथ ये भी कि अगर देर गिवन अ चांस यू हैड टू चूज सम अदर नेम फॉर योरसेल्फ, तो व्हाट नेम वुड दैट बी? ठीक है ना. और ऑलवेज चूज अ नेम दैट हैज सम क्वालिटी, ऑफिसर लाइक क्वालिटी. ठीक है ना, जो एक केस ऑफिसर के एडजेक्टिव्स होते हैं, तो उसी के हिसाब से कुछ अच्छा सा नाम. दूसरा आपने बोला कि आप सोलेना से है, तो श्रीनगर से है. फिर आपने 10th की स्कूलिंग बोली, फिर 12th की स्कूलिंग बोली, फिर आपने बीटेक बोला. आई वुड सजेस्ट यू, ये 10th और 12th का जो आपने क्लासिफिकेशन किया है, जस्ट डोंट डू दैट. ठीक है, दे डोंट नीड इट. आपने 10th कहाँ से किया, फिर 12th कहाँ से किया. आप इनिशियल स्कूलिंग बोल सकते हैं, मेरी इनिशियल स्कूलिंग यहाँ से हुई है, फिर जाके आई वेंट फॉर बीटेक इन इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग. जो आपने इंट्रो दिया था इनिशियली, आपने उसमें इंटरेस्ट नहीं बोले थे. आपका एक्चुअल हॉबी या इंटरेस्ट क्या है, तो फिर जाके फिर व्हेन यू रिपीटेड इट देन वी हैड द इंटरेस्ट. तो आपका जो इंट्रो है उसमें ये चीज है: नाम, योर डिस्ट्रिक्ट, योर स्कूलिंग, योर एजुकेशन पर से, उसके बाद वर्क एक्सपीरियंस अगर है, और अगर नहीं है तो सीधा इंटरेस्ट एंड हॉबीज. तो इंटरेस्ट एंड हॉबीज इंट्रोडक्शन में जरूर होना चाहिए. उसके बाद वी टॉक्ट अबाउट आपने सिलेक्शन अपने क्यों नहीं थी. तो यू मेंशन कि परसिवरेंस नहीं था मुझ में उतना इनिशियली, फिर जाके आपको काफी टाइम लगा. यू नो परसिवरेंस इज अ वर्ड विच इज लिंक्ड टू योर पर्सनैलिटी. वो एक कैरेक्टर का एस्पेक्ट है. और जब आपको पूछा जाएगा ऐसा सवाल कि कोई वीकनेस बताओ या कोई व्हाई आर यू नॉट गेटिंग सिलेक्टेड, डोंट गेट इनटू दिस स्फेयर जहां पर आप अपनी पर्सनल या कैरेक्टर के किसी एस्पेक्ट को कर नो कोस रहे हो. इंस्टेड व्हाट यू कैन से इज, सर मेरी प्रिपरेशन में कमजोरी हो गई थी, मेरा कोई सब्जेक्ट अच्छे से बी वेरी टेक्निकल विद दैट, सब्जेक्ट रिलेटेड चीजें बताओ. पर कैरेक्टर के रिलेटेड जैसे परसिवरेंस इज अ थिंग दैट वी वांट इन एन ऑफिसर, और अगर आप में वो नहीं थी तो दैट शोज अ फैसेट ऑफ योर पर्सनालिटी. तो बेहतर रहेगा व्हाई आर यू नॉट गेटिंग सिलेक्टेड, हैव सम टेक्निकल आंसर टू दैट कि आपका आंसर राइटिंग में दिक्कत थी या जो भी था कुछ उस तरीके से. उसके बाद मैंने आपको बोला व्हाई डू यू वांट टू जॉइन सिविल सर्विसेज, बीटेक छोड़कर आप सिविल सर्विस में क्यों आना चाहते हैं. तो आपने एक इंस्पिरेशनल स्टोरी बताई मोहल्ला कमेटी वाली. तो इसको हम क्या करते हैं ना, ये सवाल तो बट नेचुरल ऑलमोस्ट हर एक को पूछा जाता है व्हाई सिविल सर्विसेज. तो उसमें वी हैव टू हैव मल्टीपल रीजंस फॉर दैट. देयर इज नो वन रीजन कि आप केएस में क्यों जाना चाहते हो, केपीएस में क्यों जाना चाहते हो. तो जब भी आपको ऐसा सवाल आएगा आप बोल सकते हैं सर इसमें मल्टीपल रीजंस है. जैसे कि पहला रीजन आपका ये था कि दिस इंस्पिरेशनल स्टोरी विद योर मोहल्ला कमेटी, जब आपने देखा कि उन्होंने कितना ग्राउंड ब्रेकिंग काम किया, यू गॉट इंस्पायर्ड, तो उसकी तरफ. दैट इज द फर्स्ट पार्ट. सेकेंड पार्ट इज फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी. ठीक है ना, उस समय आपका वो भी हो जाता है. तो उसके बाद तीसरा यू कैन मेंशन डाइवर्सिटी. इसमें से अलग अलग जगह पर काम करने का मौका मिलेगा, अलग अलग लोगों के साथ इंटरेक्ट करने का मौका मिलेगा. और मेरी पर्सनालिटी ऐसी है कि मैं क्यूरियस हूँ थोड़ा नेचर में, मुझे नई नई चीजें सीखने का मौका मिलना चाहिए. तो मेरी क्यूरियोसिटी को सैटिस्फैक्शन मिलती है. अगर मैं अपनी ही फील्ड में रहता तो मैं इंजीनियरिंग में ही होता और कुछ साल के बाद मैं एलियनेट हो जाता अपने काम से, बिकॉज मेरा काम काफी मोनोटोनस हो जाता. तो मुझे थोड़ा डाइवर्सिटी चाहिए था. तो डाइवर्स वर्क कल्चर यू कैन मेंशन. So these are three reasons. You have an inspiring story. You can mention that. Then financial stability, and then you can also mention diverse work culture. उसके बाद when I asked you about some questions, मैंने बीच में आपको interrupt कर रहा था मैं बीच में. So interruption को आप अच्छे से ले रहे हो, तो there is not an issue with that. Interruption अगर हो रहा है वहां पर, just let them interrupt you. Don't continue with your answer. उसके बाद I asked you situational question जहां पर आपका सबऑर्डिनेट ऐसा काम नहीं कर रहा जो सेटिस्फाइंग है. तो आपने कहा आप उसको पूछोगे क्या इशू है, कहाँ पर दिक्कत है. फिर जाके अगर नहीं हो पा रहा उससे, तो जाके आप अपने सुपीरियर्स को बोलोगे. व्हाट यू शुड हैव इंस्टेड सेड इज कि you will help that person in learning that issue, in solving that issue. आप उसको हेल्प करोगे. तो आपका हेल्पिंग नेचर दिखना चाहिए इसमें. सिचुएशनल क्वेश्चंस में आपके कैरेक्टर के फेसेट निकलने चाहिए. ठीक है ना, कैरेक्टर के एस्पेक्ट्स बाहर आने चाहिए. तो उसमें एक हेल्पिंग नेचर का एक ऑफिसर दिखेगा अगर आप वो जवाब दे देते. तो बाकी सुपीरियर्स को तो सभी बोल देते. उसके बाद मैंने आपको कहा कि अगर आपको सीनियर को ऐसा टास्क देगा जो आपको नहीं आ रहा था, तो आपने बोला कि मैं उसकी बेसिक नॉलेज ले लूंगा, फिर देखूंगा मैं अपने डोमेन से क्या हेल्प ले सकूं, और अगर मुझसे नहीं होगा तो आई विल गिव अप और आई विल टेल देम टू ब्रिंग सम अदर पर्सन. ये भी यहाँ पर डोंट से दीज थिंग्स. इफ यू आर गिवन अ टास्क यू हैव टू डू इट नो मैटर व्हाट. ठीक है, तो आपको उसको पकड़कर यू विल लर्न अबाउट इट. you'll take the help from your seniors, take the help from domain experts, but you will learn and you will do it. ठीक है ना, you will not give it up and tell them to bring some other person. उसके बाद जब हमने सिल्क फैक्ट्री की बात की, यू हैड डिसेंट नॉलेज अबाउट इट. श्रीनगर की डिसेंट नॉलेज, फ्लड्स का बहुत अच्छा नॉलेज, लेक्स का, वेनिस ऑफ ईस्ट, इलेक्ट्रिकल सर्किट, आपके बैकग्राउंड का बहुत अच्छा नॉलेज, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का. वो फिर वहां से कैपिटलिज्म की तरफ चला गया, आरटीआई की तरफ चला गया. वो काफी अच्छा आपका पोर्शन था आपके इंटरव्यू का. फिर जाके मैंने आपको बोला व्हाई शुड वी सिलेक्ट यू. अब यहाँ पर यू हैव टू सेल योरसेल्फ कि आपको क्यों सिलेक्ट किया जाए. आपने बोला पेशेंस है, कोऑर्डिनेशन है, एक्सपर्टीज है, बिकॉज आप एसोसिएटेड रहे हो मोहल्ला कमेटी के साथ, आप में वो एक्सपीरियंस है. आपको क्या पता है कि 600 अलग लोग हैं, उसमें से 500 लोगों का वैसा ही एक्सपीरियंस हो, आपसे बेहतर एक्सपीरियंस हो. कोई ऐसा भी हो सकता है जो ऑलरेडी सब इंस्पेक्टर बन गया हो, वो भी एग्जाम दे रहा है, उसका तो आपसे ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस है. तो डोंट सेल योरसेल्फ लाइक दिस ओनली. इसमें whenever these questions are asked, there are three things you have to keep in mind जो आपके सिलेबस में भी है. We'll start with the logic. पहले आपको लॉजिकल एक्सपोजिशन दिखाना है. When that logical exposition has to be countered with moral integrity. तो लॉजिक एक तरफ से, दूसरा मॉरल इंटेग्रिटी, देन योर बैलेंस ऑफ जजमेंट. तो जो भी सिचुएशनल क्वेश्चन होगा, आप थोड़ा सा टाइम लेकर, जल्दबाजी में नहीं बोलकर, थोड़ा सा टाइम लेकर इस प्रिज्म से इस क्वेश्चन को देखना है. लॉजिक, मॉरल इंटेग्रिटी, देन बैलेंस. नाउ हाउ वुड यू अप्रोच सच अ क्वेश्चन जहां पर आपको बोला जा रहा है व्हाई शुड वी सिलेक्ट यू. नाउ सबसे पहले लेट्स डू द लॉजिक. लॉजिक ये है कि सर रिक्रूटमेंट का प्रोसेस इज सच जहां पर सम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स बट नेचुरल विल नॉट बी सिलेक्टेड. तो दैट शोज द लॉजिक कि नहीं भी हो सकता है. ठीक है. सेकेंड, मॉरल इंटेग्रिटी. मॉरल इंटेग्रिटी क्या होगा? सर आई डोंट नो माई आई डोंट नो माई कॉम्पिटिटर्स, आई एम नॉट श्योर about their strengths, about their weaknesses, but however I would want the best person be selected for the job. तो ये आपका moral integrity दिखा रहा है. Then you have to sell it कि आपको क्यों select किया जाए. अब आप ये बोलेंगे, sir as far as I know myself, और जो qualities एक केस ऑफिसर की होनी चाहिए, over the years मेरा experience ये बोलता है कि मैंने वो qualities अपने अंदर develop कर ली है. तो वो जाके मैं कल को अच्छे तरीके से express कर सकता हूँ, given a chance. ठीक है. तो आपने लॉजिक भी दिखा दिया कि नहीं भी हो सकता है, आपने मोरालिटी भी दिखा दी कि बेस्ट पर्सन बी सिलेक्टेड. उसके बाद आपने अपने आप को बेच भी दिया जहां पर आपने सेल किया अपनी चीजों को कि भाई जो इसकी रिक्वायरमेंट है मैं वो पूरी कर रहा हूं. तो दैट इज व्हाई वी शुड बी सिलेक्ट यू. डू यू फुलफिल द रिक्वायरमेंट्स? यस आई डू. These are the qualities that an officer should have, and I possess such qualities because of my experience. फिर जाके तीसरे लेवल पर आप अपना एक्सपीरियंस मेंशन कर सकते थे. उसके बाद मैंने आपको वीकनेस के बारे में पूछा, आप में क्या वीकनेस है. देयर इन अगेन आपने अपनी पर्सनालिटी की कुछ ऐसी चीजें बोली जो एक ऑफिसर लाइक नहीं है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आपने बोला वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस आपका नहीं है, तो दैट वाज फाइन. वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस अगर नहीं है, यू आर मोर टिल्टेड टुवर्ड्स योर वर्क, तो दैट इज फाइन, बिकॉज ऐसे लोग होने चाहिए जो फोकस्ड है अपने काम की तरफ. दूसरा जो आपने कहा कि आप इम्पल्सिव हो. अब आप केपीएस ऑफिसर हो, साथ में इम्पल्सिव भी हो. ठीक है ना. सो ये चीज बैठेगी नहीं साथ में. फिर आपने बोला कि समटाइम्स यू लूज फोकस. ऐसी कोई वीकनेस नहीं दिखनी चाहिए जिसमें आपके कैरेक्टर पे सवाल उठे. इंस्टेड व्हाट यू शुड हैव टोल्ड इज, सर मेरा वर्कहोलिक नेचर है, मैं ज्यादा काम की तरफ टिल्टेड होता हूं, वो ठीक है. सेकंड, सर आई एम नॉट टू आर्टिस्टिक. जैसे कि मेरे दोस्त वगैरह है, काफी अच्छा गाते हैं, दे डांस वेरी वेल, पोइट्री अच्छा लिखते हैं. मुझ में वो आर्टिस्टिक नेचर नहीं है और इट्स अ वीकनेस जो मुझ में है. आप बता सकते थे सर आई लव फूड, मुझे फूड काफी पसंद है, तो मुझे जब अच्छा डिश आता है तो मैं कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाता. तो डाइट कंट्रोल आप बता सकते थे, ये मेरी वीकनेस. तो ये ऐसी वीकनेसेस है जिसको बदला जा सकता है, जिसमें केएस ऑफिसर या केपीएस ऑफिसर बनने पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. आप बता सकते थे मैं इंट्रोवर्ट हूँ, इंट्रोवर्ट में सर मुझे टाइम लगता है ओपन अप होने में. तो फिर से मैं बोल दूं कि ऐसी कोई वीकनेस नहीं बोलनी है जहां पर देयर विल बी अ क्वेश्चन ऑन योर कैरेक्टर. तो जैसे इम्पल्सिव वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल करना, इम्पेशंस बोलना, ये बोलना कि मुझे में परसिवरेंस नहीं थी, सो वो चीज आपको अवॉइड करना है. मैंने आपको बोला आपने शादी क्यों नहीं की, तो हमारा पूरा इंटरव्यू इंग्लिश में ही था, आपका मीडियम इंग्लिश का ही है, बट मैंने जानबूझ के लैंग्वेज चेंज की बिकॉज मैं देखना चाहता था कि आप किस लैंग्वेज में जवाब दोगे. बट जब मैंने हिंदी में सवाल पूछा, आपको हिंदी में ही जवाब देना था, बिकॉज आपको अगर ट्रांसक्रिप्ट पहुंचे हैं स्टूडेंट्स के, आपको पता चलेगा वहां पर दे डोंट फॉलो दी मीडियम, वहां पर दे एंजॉय व्हाट एवर लैंग्वेज सूट्स देम. तो इंग्लिश में अगर है तो कोई पैनलिस्ट हिंदी में पूछ लेगा, तो जो पैनलिस्ट जिस लैंग्वेज में, जिस भाषा में सवाल पूछ रहा है उसी भाषा में जवाब दे देना उसको. बाकी मुझे लगा ब्रिलियंट नॉलेज, डिसेंट नॉलेज है, यू आर अ पोटेंशियल person for this job. If there are any questions you can ask.
No, sir.
ठीक है. ये सारी चीजें बहुत, हाँ, you can work on these things. पर्सनालिटी के जो फेसेट्स है वो ध्यान में रखना कि कौन सी चीज मुझे नहीं बोलनी चाहिए और कौन सी चीज उनको दिख जाएगी. वैसे बाकी you were nice. All right. All the best. We hope to see you in the finalist.
Thank you, sir.